We often talk about personality as if it were a bright and sunny day, filled with positive traits and behaviors that make us feel good about ourselves and others. But what about the shadows, the parts of our personality that we don't often discuss or even acknowledge? What about the darker aspects of human nature that lurk beneath the surface, influencing our actions and decisions in ways we might not fully understand? These darker aspects are what we call the Dark Triad, a term used in psychology to describe a trio of particularly malevolent personality traits. The Dark Triad is a group of 3 personality traits: Narcissism, Machiavellianism, and Psychopathy. Each of these traits has its own unique characteristics and effects on behavior. These traits are often found together in individuals, creating a toxic mix that can be harmful to themselves and those around them. Narcissism involves an inflated sense of self-importance. Machiavellianism is characterized by manipulation and deceit, and psychopathy includes a lack of empathy and remorse. Understanding these traits is crucial. It allows us to see beyond the surface and recognize the underlying motivations that drive certain behaviors. It helps us navigate the complexities of human interaction, making us more aware of the potential for manipulation and harm in our relationships. It allows us to recognize red flags and protect ourselves from potential harm. By being aware of these traits, we can take steps to safeguard our mental and emotional well-being. By shining a light on these dark corners, we empower ourselves to live healthier and happier lives. Knowledge of the Dark Triad not only helps us understand others, but also encourages us to reflect on our own behaviors and strive for personal growth. Let's start with narcissism. We all know someone who seems completely in love with themselves. They crave admiration, need constant validation, and lack empathy for others. Think about a time when you were with someone who constantly steered the conversation back to themselves. They might have interrupted you or dismissed your feelings. These are classic signs of narcissism. Now, it's important to remember that everyone can display narcissistic traits sometimes. It's part of being human. However, when these traits become deeply ingrained and persistent, it can be a sign of narcissistic personality disorder. Recognizing narcissism is the first step. You can then set boundaries and protect yourself from their manipulative tactics. Remember, you truly deserve to be heard and respected. Next, let's talk about Machiavellianism. This term originates from the political philosophy of Niccolo Machiavelli, who wrote The Prince in the 16th century. Picture someone who is cunning, manipulative, and always striving for power. They are strategic thinkers, often planning several steps ahead. They are willing to exploit others to achieve their goals, seeing people as mere tools to be used. These individuals are often charming and charismatic, making it easy for them to gain trust and influence. They know how to use flattery and deception to get what they want, often masking their true intentions behind a facade of friendliness. You might find yourself questioning their motives, feeling like you're part of their game, a pawn in their grand scheme. Think back to a time when someone used guilt or emotional blackmail to get you to do something. They might have made you feel responsible for their happiness or success. That's a classic Machiavellian tactic, using your emotions against you to bend you to their will. They are master manipulators, always playing the long game. They carefully craft their strategies, often waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Awareness is key. Once you recognize these tactics, you can start to disentangle yourself from their web. Understanding their methods is the first step to protecting yourself. Remember, you have the right to say no and make your own choices. Empower yourself by setting boundaries and standing firm in your decisions. By doing so, you reclaim your power and ensure that you are not easily manipulated by others. Finally, we come to the most chilling trait of the Dark Triad, psychopathy. This is the trait that often sends shivers down our spines. Psychopathy is characterized by a profound lack of empathy, remorse, and guilt. These individuals are often unable to form genuine emotional connections with others. They often engage in impulsive and reckless behavior, acting on a whim without considering the consequences of their actions. Imagine someone who can commit a cruel act without blinking an eye, showing no signs of regret or sorrow. They are devoid of the emotional depth that makes us human, lacking the ability to feel compassion or sympathy. This coldness can be both terrifying and intriguing, drawing us in while simultaneously pushing us away. Now, it's important to note that not all psychopaths are criminals. Many live among us, blending seamlessly into society. Many are highly functioning individuals who excel in their chosen fields, often rising to positions of power and influence. However, their lack of empathy can make them dangerous if their desires turn malicious. They can manipulate and harm others without a second thought. If you suspect you're dealing with someone with psychopathic tendencies, trust your gut. Your instincts are often your best defense. Keep your distance and prioritize your safety above all else. Establish clear boundaries and don't be afraid to enforce them.